Welcome to this Laws of Indices Masterclass, the lesson that makes powers and exponents finally click. If indices have ever felt confusing, messy, or full of random rules to memorise, then this video is going to change all of that. I'm going to break down everything from step by step, from the basic laws all the way through to the harder exam style questions, so that you actually understand why the rules work, not just how to use them. And by the end of this masterclass, you'll be simplifying expressions faster, solving problems with confidence, and avoiding the mistakes that catch most students out. So grab your pen, pause whenever you need to, and let's master the laws of indices. So beginning with stage 1 and powers recap, and just make sure that we understand that 2 cubed is just 2 times 2 times 2, nice and easy to start with. So hopefully that's okay. And then we can see the next questions, we are going to need some of our basic laws of indices. So the first one to look at is that when we're multiplying the bases, that just means that we add the powers. Okay, I always like to think that the multiply sign kind of turns to make a plus sign, is how I remember that one. And then if we divide, then that just means that we subtract the powers. So kind of like the inverse of multiply is divide and the inverse of addition is subtraction. The next one that we're going to need in this set of questions is x to the power of m, then raised to the power n, just means that we multiply those two together. So let's go and do some questions. Hopefully you can see that this one is relevant to this index law here. So I've got same base, which is 5, and it just means that I just need to add the powers. So 2 plus 3 equals 5. Happens to be 3,125 if you actually work it out. Okay, next one. Now that just means we're dividing. Okay, looks like a fraction, but we're dividing. Okay, so what does that mean? X to the power of 6 subtract 2, going by this law here, which equals 4. Okay, just leave it there. The next one, nice and straightforward, relates to this one, doesn't it? Okay, so let's colour code them. And this means that we're just going to do 3 multiplied by 2, which equals x to the power of 6. And finally, let's have a look at this one. Let's do it in a nice red. Okay, so what I do is I multiply the numbers first. 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. And then I do laws of indices, it's multiplying, same bases, which are a, and because it's multiplying, we're just going to add the powers. So it's a to the power of 5. Okay, last but not least, now a lot of people get confused with this one. What this means is that we're just squaring it, so we're multiplying it by itself. So what essentially happens is that we do 3 squared, because it's 3 times 3, times by b squared. So the answer is 9b squared. Everything basically inside the bracket in that product is getting squared. Stage 2, and we're looking at negative indices. And what we need to bear in mind here is this law of indices, which is that x to the power of negative m is 1 over x to the power of m. So that's all you need to know for these ones. And we just apply it. So look, our m has turned into a 3, okay? So this just means that it's going to be 1 over x cubed for the first one. The next one, okay, the x is now a number, okay? So it just means that we've got, in this case, we've got 1 over 2 squared, which 2 squared we know is just 4. So it's 1 over 4. I'm running out of room here, aren't I? I haven't got a lot of space. Let's just come down here and do this one in red. So this one is now 1 over. Now what I've got is x to the power minus 4. It's a little bit like the first question. So I can put in brackets here 1 over x to the power of 4. And then you really need to know what to do next. And I have a nice rule for you down here, is that if you have 1 over some kind of fraction, what that actually does is it just flips the fraction. Okay, that's quite a handy thing to remember, because now we can write this just as x to the power of 4 over 1. And if you divide anything by 1, it is just itself, so which is just x to the power of 4. Okay, and last but not least, let's do the next one in blue. Okay, so what did I say just now in that final question of stage 1? I said that, you know, if you've got a bracket, a product raised to some power, all you have to do is just apply that power to both parts of the product. So in this case, it's just going to be 3 squared times by x to the power of minus 2 all squared. Okay, so everything inside that product is going to get squared. 3 squared is just 9. I know from before that if I've got x to the power of m to the power of n I just multiply those two things. So that applies here. So I just get x to the power of minus 4. And then actually, using this rule, x to the power of minus 4 is just 1 over x to the power of 4. And then when I've got an integer multiplied by a fraction, I just multiply the numerator. So the final answer is just going to be 9 over x to the power of 4, like so. Wonderful. Okay, next question. We're going to look at some fractional indices. This is more of a higher level kind of law of index. And this is that if you've got x to the power of 1 over m, that's just the mth root of x. Okay, so that's all you need to know for these ones. We are going to be combining, actually, looking at these questions with this rule as well, which we'll have a look at in a minute. So let's have a go at some quick questions. And the first one is that we've got the square root of 16. That makes sense, doesn't it? Because it's 1 over m. In this case, the m is 2, so it's the square root of 16, which is 4. Or technically plus minus 4, should I say, but there we go. Next one, 1 over 3, so it's the cube root of 27. What do we multiply by itself 3 times to get 27? It's just 3. This is where it starts to get interesting because we're going to start to apply this rule as well. So what this is that we have to split up the fraction into a quarter times 3. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, it's the 4th root of 81 all cubed. What do we times by itself 3 times to get 81? It's 3, and so it's 3 cubed. And 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Okay, interesting question there. Okay, some more here to practice. I mean, feel free to pause, have a go yourselves if you would like to at this point. This one is 64 to the power of 1/3 then, squared, which is the cube root of 64 squared, which is 4 squared, which is 16. So well done if you got that before me. And last but not least, we have this one. So it's 25 to the power of 1 over 2 cubed, because 3 halves is 3 over 2. Then we've got the square root of 25 cubed, which is 5 cubed, which is 125. Okay, all right, so they're nice and fun. Hopefully you enjoyed those. On to stage 4. Fractional indices with variables and coefficients. Okay, so again, kind of the idea of if you've got a, b to the power of m, what happens is that power m is applied to a and to b. Okay, that's going to be relevant here. Let's just make that a bit clearer. So what we've got here is we've got 9 to the power of a half, x to the power of 4 to the power of a half. So that power of half applies to both of the things in the product. We know from earlier that x to the power of 1 over m is just the mth root of x. So if you've got 9 to the power of a half, that just means it's the square root of 9, right? Which is going to be equal to 3 in this case. So it's going to be 3. And then I've also got this rule that is when I've got a power raised to another power, I just multiply those powers. So here it's going to be 4 multiplied by a half, which is just x squared. Okay, so just like the previous stage, if you wanted to pause at this point and have a go at the rest, please do. I'm going to continue though, and we've got 8 to the power of 1/3. We've got y to the power of 6 to 1/3. Okay, so we've got the cube root of 8, I hope you agree, which is 2. And we've got 6 multiplied by a third. A third of 6 is 2, so the answer is 2y squared. Okay, continuing. Let's see if I can get another one in here. I'll do it in a nice orange. Okay, so it's 27 raised to the power of 1/3. And then it's a to the power of 9 to the power of 1/3. Now that's the cube root of 27, which I know is 3. And then I've got a to the power of 9 times a third, which is the power of 3. Last but not least, we'll just fit it down here. Okay, so then we've got 4 to the power of a half, x squared to the power of a half. So the power half gets applied to everything in the product, in which case, in this case, there's actually 3 things. So it's the square root of 4, which is 2. 2 times a half is just 1, so it's x to the power of 1. And then 4 halves are 2, so it's y squared. Okay, all right. And on to the 5th and final stage of this Laws of Indices Masterclass. And this is very exciting stuff. So let's do the first one together, at which point you might want to pause it and have a go. Okay, now lots of these different ideas coming in at this point now. So we've got that the power negative a half is applied to this whole product. So let's do this first one together. We've got 25 to the power of minus a half, x squared to the power of minus a half. Now that would be 1 over then square root of 25, because it's 1 over 25 to the power of a half. And then this just gets multiplied together. Okay, so we've got that part, and then 2 minus a halves. Okay, 2 multiplied by minus a half is just minus 1. So what you get is 1/5 times by 1 over x. And when you multiply those two fractions together, you just multiply the top, multiply the bottom, so you get 1 over 5x, like so. Let's do the second one. Okay, so if you're feeling brave, go for it. So let's make a bit of space. Maybe I'll just have to go a little bit further down. We've got 27 to the power of negative a third. Then we've got y to the power of 9 to the power of negative a third. Same idea. So it's 1 over, in this case, the cube root of 27. And then 9 times minus a third is minus 3. So it's y to the power of minus 3. So it's going to be 1 over 3 times by 1 over y cubed. So the final answer for this one, let's just move this out of the way, is equal to 1 over 3y cubed. For these final two questions, I'm going to need to go and have a bit more space because you can see how complicated these are. What I'm going to use is the fact that if you've got a fraction and you raise it to the power of negative 1, that actually does 1 over that fraction. And we mentioned earlier that that just flips the fraction. Okay, so if I take this fraction and I raise it to the power of negative 1, and then obviously it has to also be raised to the power of a half, because negative 1 times a half is negative half, so that's still okay, right? It just means that I'm going to flip the fraction. So I'm going to deal with this whole negative part of the fraction, of the power, should I say, first of all, just by flipping it over, like so. So we get y squared over 49 x to the power of 4, and then everything is going to have power 1/2 applied to it. Okay, so now it looks a bit nicer. Y to the power of 2 to the power of a half, just multiply those two powers together, we get y. And then over, now the power of a half just means I need to do the square root, so it's going to be 7, and then I'm going to apply the power half to the power 4, which is multiply those two, and we get the answer of y over 7x squared. So, you know, it simplifies down quite quickly. Now, you might want to pause at this point and have a go yourself on this next one. I'm going to do it as well. Same idea. So we're going to use the fact that we've got a negative in there just to flip the fraction first. So we've got 64a to the power of 6 over b cubed. That's going to be raised to the power of minus 1. Then it's going to be raised to the power of a third. Let's just flip the fraction, get rid of this negative 1 part. So we get b cubed over 64a to the power of 6. And then all of that gets raised to the power of a third. And now we just apply the power third to everything. So 3 multiplied by a third is just b. And then 64 to the power of a third, a number to the power of a third. We're just going to do the cube root of 64, therefore, which is just 4. And then 6 multiplied by a third, okay, is just a squared. So there's our final answer. Okay, I'm just going to go and do one more. Let's have a look. So express the following in the form 2 to the power of p. Now what you've got to realise is that anything that you can express as a power of 2, then go for it. So what we've got here is 5 times. Now 4 is 2 squared to the power of 2/3. And then we've got 3 times. I mean, 3 can't be expressed as a power of 2, but 16 can. So it's 2 to the power of 4 to the power of 1/3. So hopefully happy with what I've just done. Now I'm going to apply that rule that we can multiply these powers together. So we've got 5 times by 2 to the power of 4 over 3. And then I've got 3 times, 4 times a third happens also to be 4 over 3. Okay, well, this is very interesting. So I've got 5 lots of 2 to the power of 4 over 3 and 3 lots of 2 to the power of 4 over 3, which I hope you agree is 8 lots of 2 to the power of 4 over 3. It does want me to give my final answer just in the form 2 to the power of p, and funnily enough, 8 can also be expressed as a power of 2. Of course, it's 2 to the power of 3. So that's getting multiplied by 2 to the power of 4 over 3. And look at that, now I've got my original, the first law of index that I mentioned, that when we multiply the bases, we add the powers. So this is 9 over 3 plus 4 over 3. I think the final answer must be therefore 13 over 3. And so p equals 13 over 3, if they specifically asked you to find p. But amazing. Okay, what a question. Okay, I hope you enjoyed all of that. That's your Laws of Indices Masterclass. If you really enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe Ace Maths, and keep working hard and ace that maths.